this is Bar Harbor. This is the default from X-Plane. And it looks, I mean, it looks okay. It's not bad. And this is all vStates out here. From this view, it looks really nice. All right. So, yeah. That's some pretty peppy music. My gear handle always makes that noise. KPHB. Okay, so there it is. And we're departing 2-2, at least that's the plan. Where's Bar Harbor? KPHB. We're going to KBTV. All right. Yeah, runway 22. 3010. All right. And we'll get this airplane going here. What switch is that? That's that one. Okay. So I'm going to try out XPilot today. I got a crash when I was flying into Providence. Got to about a 8-mile final and it crashed right there. So had 2 crashes that day. I don't know what caused the first one, but that was the second one.
Aural warning, okay.
Okay.
TOS system test, okay.
All right. Oops. And starter ignition oil pressure NG. Light off. 30 by 30. Cut out. Inertial separator. Park and brake. Come on. Good. Temperatures 39°C. Holy crap. Wait a second. Just trying to active sky was off. Let's see what happens. I rebooted my computer. Alright, so let me get rid of that little text down there at the bottom. Traffic global. There. Altimeter 3010, is that right? Yep. Hmm. And our flight plan is very basic. BML, BML to KBTV, KBTV. BML to KBTV. Flight plan, very basic. Okay. So no SID, no star. Depart runway 22 and 224. I don't know what altitude we're going to get. We're going to call center 134.7. Swap. See if we hear anything.
Roger, fly the missed approach, report the missed. We will fly the missed approach and report missed. Orbx 166.
Test 1, 2. All right, so test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. I hope that works.
Rouge 1952, contact New York Center 125.32.
Still too loud.
New York Center 125.32, have a good night. Rouge 1952.
Hey Ken, how you doing? Washington Center TBM 5372 Sierra.
TBM 5372 Sierra, Boss Center, go ahead.
TBM 5372 Sierra is at Bar Harbor, looking for a clearance to Burlington, Vermont.
November 5372 Sierra. Clear to the Burlington Airport VON entering controlled airspace direct to Berlin VOR, then as filed maintain 10,000. Departure frequency will be with me, squawk 4716, 4716.
TBM 5372 Sierra is cleared as filed when in controlled airspace to Berlin VOR, maintain 10,000. Expect flight level 28010 minutes later. Departure with you, squawk 4716.
TBM 72 Sierra, that readback is correct. Hold for release. Advise number 1 ready for departure.
72 Sierra, roger. Okay to taxi then, I guess.
Yes, sir. You can taxi to the runway and just advise when you're ready to depart.
72 Sierra, thanks. This is weird. I'm using XPilot today instead of that other software that caused me to crash when I was flying into Providence, Swift. And you don't get any noise feedback when you're speaking in your microphone, which is kind of more similar to, a real ATC radio. And this one was dead easy to install too compared to Swift. Swift is a... All right. Let's fix this. All right. So taxi light. I used to, just, you know, Pipers and Cessnas. Used to fly out of Robbinsville, New Jersey. Let me look at my chart here real quick. I'm looking for a hotel. There I am. That's where I am. Nothing as fancy as this.
Mark 168, Roger. Fly the published missed approach.
I'm going to put the brakes on for a second.
And the hold at climbing. Report to know that climbing there, we're at 1
Can't seem to turn that down low enough. Did that seem loud to you, Ken? Let's see, so now they're not going to talk. I'm going to go ahead and put the headset on. Oh, it didn't seem too loud to you. Okay. On my end, it did. So maybe I need to turn my sound down some. It's, you know, it's hard to know, you know, sitting where I am. My headset volume is different than whatever the streaming volume is. So he said I could climb to 10,000. I wouldn't imagine there'd be a lot of traffic here at Bar Harbor. This is a nice flight. The scenery is really nice. I actually flew it yesterday, and there was a fair amount of clouds, and there were some other things, and it went wrong, and I just wanted to do it again. So I'm doing it again. So let's get our flaps down. Flaps are set. Fuel looks good. How about you, Ken? Do you fly? This is a pretty place. I mean, look, you can looking down into the lake over there. Let's see. No, you don't? Okay. I'll put the brakes on for a second while I just check this. Do you have logic head set or real one taped into your system? It's just It's just a headset. It's a Corsair headset. It's good, but not great. All right, checklist. LFE, that's right. Altimeter, trims are good. De-ice system is fine. Inertial separator is on. Cast looks good. Check the flaps. Flight controls, trims. Strobe switches on cast is fine. Fuel is fine. Flight instruments are set, and set. Takeoff distances are fine. Rotation speed 85. Engine instruments look good. Battery charge is good. Return. So we're holding number 1. Center 72 Sierra is holding short of runway 22 for departure, Bar Harbor.
TBM900 Sierra, you are released for departure. Departure void if not off by 2145 Zulu. If you're not off by 2145 Zulu, contact Boston Center. Otherwise, sir, you can monitor Unicom 122.8, contact Boston Center Airborne.
TBM72 Sierra cleared for departure, runway 22 and off by 45. 72 Sierra. So I'm in uncontrolled airspace, I guess. So lights, icing, flaps are set, transponder. Out, back. I don't know what the phraseology is for that. Let's see. So departing here, I'll depart runway heading and then turn right direct to roughly 290. So
American 2140 Boston Center, hello. You're clear direct FEX, cross FEX at flight level 230. FEX and cross FEX at 230.
so as default scenery goes, this is nice. My plan was actually to fly into Portland, Maine, and I just wanted to keep going up the coast because I was enjoying the scenery. Why not? Positive rate, gear up. It's a pretty area. I mean, the airport's kind of weak, I'll admit that, but it's still pretty.
Hey, Delta 2149 is coordinating with the other controllers. Say again, please.
Flaps up, yaw damper on.
Hey, Delta 2149, where are you now, sir? Brad? Yes,
So it gave me direct.
Hey, Delta 2149, clearance on request, standby. Roger. Hey, Mark 168, roger, proceed. You can continue into the hold and then just confirm what you would like to do back at Martha's Vineyard. We'd like to continue into the hold and proceed.
Yeah, that's VetSim.
Martha's Vineyard for VOR runway 26 approach. Okay, Mark 168, you're cleared direct to the Martha's Vineyard VOR. Cross the Martha's Vineyard VOR at 3000. Cleared for the VOR runway 6 approach.
Let's see, VS up a little bit. Yeah, after my troubles with my yoke, I think I've got them all worked out. Finally. Almost all. Might need a little bit of tuning, but there were several problems. So my old yoke keeps going on.
You can proceed currently direct to the Martha's Vineyard VOR. It'll be vectors for
Let's switch
the
that.
VOR runway 6 approach to Martha's Vineyard. Just will proceed direct.
We can look outside. Nice scenery.
2152 departing airspace to the southwest. Washington Center's offline. Radar service terminated. Frequency change approved.
Let's see, it didn't friggin' squawk. 4716.
2140 descent via the Roebuck 3 arrival. Runway 4 right at Boston. Boston altimeter 3012 3012.
Yeah, well, you know, okay. So, yeah, give me a second here. And Boston Center TBM 5372 Sierra is climbing through 7,800 for 10,000.
TBM 72 Sierra Boston Center, squawk ident.
Ident 72 Sierra. Yep, ident. Yeah, that takes a longer answer. Pretty down there.
And TBM 72 Sierra radar contact 4 miles west of the Bar Harbor Airport, climbing out of 900,000. Climb and maintain flight level 280, clear direct Berlin VOR.
TBM 72 Sierra, clear direct Berlin VOR, climb and maintain flight level 280.
And Delta 2149, I have your clearance. You're ready to copy.
You know, I'm out on the fringe of this guy's space. He's not going to have any trouble with me, except
Delta
if he forgets me.
2149, you're cleared to your
Yeah,
destination.
that's vStates.
Via the Bradley 4 departure, Veers, that is filed.
I was watching a real-world
Expect flight level 340
video
10 minutes after departure.
this
Frequency
afternoon, and I
63746.
was just noticing how it looked how vStates looks fairly similar to it. So I would say it's a win. I would say it's a win. Let's see, so inertial separator can go off. Yeah, I think I mostly gave up slower GA when I started flying the Turbine Duke on prepared 3D. Trying to think. I mean, I started flying twins at the same time, other twins, and really, I think the first twin I flew was the Cessna 337, which is a, weird one, and I love that plane. But then I started flying the Turbine Duke, and then after that, some other. So I sort of moved up to faster airplanes, and I've enjoyed them more. Do I have the Premier? No, I don't. Do you? I do have that other one, the S550, but I've only flown it twice so far. I tend to fly a lot in IMC and in around bad weather, because I fly along the coast, and I look for planes that have some sort of weather radar like this one, which has NexRad, and this one luckily also has its own weather radar here, which I've got turned off right now. So, yeah. So, there's a few Coronado planes that have weather radar, the PC-12, and maybe a couple more, and their recent the PA34
Let me know if you need,
T has it.
we can do vectors or we can change the arrival.
I said PA34, PA46T. PA34 does not, unfortunately. It's got a Avidine in it, but it doesn't really work very well. In fact, it's kind of a liability. Okay, so that's set. Pressurization's good. And it wants me to throttle up. So I'm going to put something in flight plan, just so I've got a sense for my VNAV. And there it is. And we'll just
1486, what would you like, sir?
put in 7,000 there. Clear.
JetBlue 1486, 20 degrees to the left, deviation is approved. Just let me know when you can get back on your flight plan.
So 41 minutes. Wow, is that right? Premiere is $23.95 till midnight. You know, I haven't heard a lot of good things about the Premiere. I've heard some good things about the S. Hold on, let me look at it. Do you have the TBM? Can I ask? I mean, it's not as fast as a Premiere, not by a good amount. The TBM isn't. If you want fast.
Good afternoon, Station 9 Range Juliet Tango with you, flight level 360 descending to flight level 270, passengers at 270. November 986 Juliet Tango, boss center, hello. Descend and maintain flight level 270. Down to flight level 270, Juliet Tango. United 511, looks like New York is closing, so radar service is terminated for you, sir. Frequency change to Unicom is approved. Have a good flight.
The Premiere is a jet, twin jet.
Mark 168, turn right heading 270.
Big sale, 40% off. There's the Premiere. So many of these planes could have been so much better. I mean, it's hit and miss. You can't go by what you see at all. I love the cockpit in this thing, and I wish it functioned fully. I doubt it does. I don't know what's behind it. Oh wow, no SID or star, and you know, and I mean that doesn't really make the Phenom has a G1000 in it, so it must have their early G1000. I used to have their Phenom 300, I think it was, but I had it unprepared and it was awful. I flew it twice, never flew it again, and that's not why I haven't flown the S550 so much. You know, it's a pretty decent airplane. It's just, you know, without radar. I'm kind of in a bind. You know, I find the airplanes where the avionics are more simple and the still, and maybe they'll get used to their G1000 implementation, you know, doing that, but where the avionics are more simple.
Boss center, you only came last kind of half a second of your transmission.
To be better. I heard good things about the Cessna 206, which is kind of a slow airplane, but
Okay, sir, I got 0 audio on that transmission.
definitely compared to
That's Eastern 455, Boss Center, hello, climb maintain, flight level 210.
the Eclipse has
Let's see if we can get your audio working.
no VNAV.
I'm on the Eastern 455 anyway.
Yeah, the
Eastern 455.
the PA-46T has VNAV.
Roger,
It didn't for a while, but I don't know.
Roger, Eastern 455, climb
It's weird to use in the cockpit. I had a lot of, had to do some mind twists to make it work. At first it didn't work, which made no sense because it's built into the G1000. Just implement the buttons.
2149, runway 24, taxi at your discretion, report holding short, ready for departure. Runway 24, taxi at my discretion.
Yeah, the TBM is remarkable. It didn't ruin it for me. Like I said, I was moving away from slower GA before this. It's a challenge, though. It's a handful. Really, the question is for me has been what's my number 2 airplane, and that's, I don't have any good answers there. I guess right now it's the DA62, but the DA62 is pretty darn heavy on frames. So I don't know if I'm going to keep up with that one or not. I mean, there's 3 business jets coming out later this year that will all be better than what's out there. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the news, but the folks that made that SR-22, the Hold My Beer guys, they're making a Citation X. That was on, I think that was on, what's that website? Threshold.
Boston Center, Station 900, 6 Juliet Tango, 1 and 2 from clear to descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival.
There it is right there.
Not yet, sir, but shortly. And 986 Juliet Tango, you're clear direct effects, cross effects.
Looks like it's got a ways to go.
Alright, direct effects, and was that 2304, 6 Juliet Tango?
6 Juliet
Yeah, this has got,
flight level 230.
well, I don't need to talk a lot about the TBM.
230, 6 Juliet Tango.
The Challenger 300 is nice. What kind of a nav system does that have? Because I was thinking about that airplane, just because I wanted to get used to Challenger systems. Because Hot Start's coming out with the 650.
You're clear direct wear it, cross wear it at 2,500, correction, 2,000. You're cleared for the VOR runway 6 approach.
I used to fly the Citation Mustang on prepared. I love that plane. If there was a decent one for X-plane, I would get it in a heartbeat. There is one, but it's not decent.
American 2140, contact Boston approach 133.0. 133.0.
Beautiful scenery up here. If you guys haven't made it up to Maine in this area, I mean, yesterday was the first time that I'd flown up in this area, and I was like, whoa,
Boston Center, hello, climb 18, flight level 35.
definitely worth visiting.
Alaska 24, departing airspace to the west. Cleveland Center's offline, radar service terminated, frequency change approved.
"12 minutes until we start down." And the airport we're flying into, which is Burlington, Vermont, that scenery is free on the .org, and it's nice. Haven't flown it lately, can't see it in my mind. Has an FMC. I wonder if it's the default FMC.
Alaska 24, Boston Center.
I'll have to look. I'll have to look because I mean that one's been in my brain. That's the only one that, as far as jets go, that's been in my brain. Well, partly because I know the 650's coming out, and I know how that one's going to be. So I figured if it's a good training airplane, it's a good training airplane. Be good to knock around in at flight level 410, right? Thereabouts. That thing's a rocket too. But yeah, Coronado, I mean, I don't know. They must make a lot of money doing what they're doing. But these airplanes, some of these could really be better.
Alright, so maybe the Roebuck 3, you'll expect 4 right and 301 Charlie.
But just a little bit of work too. I mean, the Cheyenne is a beautiful airplane. But you have to start out with it on the runway. You start with it on the runway, load it up with fuel, and go, and it's perfect. Well, except for the lack of weather radar. Flies by the numbers. Just looking at some of these other ones. The PA-46 is about the same. The 46T is about the same. Flies by the numbers, started out on the runway, and you'll have a great time.
See that, sir. You can just let me know if you have a problem. Climb, maintain flight level 21, sir. Climb back up to 210, and yeah, we're just trying to figure out what happened. Yeah, Delta 2149 after departure, flight runway heading, runway 24, clear for takeoff. Runway 24, clear for takeoff.
But the only jet that, and I'd love to have a Premier too, that would be nice. The only jet that I've heard anything good about is the S550. From them.
And JetBlue 1486, you say you can't fly.
Yeah, the Cherokee was the one that I thought where they nailed the flight model. I'm not an A2A fan, but I had to be a fan of that airplane. It was done right.
For the approach and the Boston altimeter 3012.
That was a beautiful airplane. I used to fly Cessnas a fair amount, and I got their Cessna 172 and what was the other one? And I did not like the flight models. And well, there's also the Hold My Beer SR-22. That's free. But yeah, I heard the 206 pretty decent. The only thing about that is, yeah, you'd think that they would have combined it up into one airplane, the 206H, where you get a G1000, but you got to pay for both. Yeah, the 550 flies good. I have to fly that again. I could load it up here sometime, and people could give me tips. But the Citation X now, that could be something. That's a fast airplane. If they do it right. That'll be that's a hard one to do. What runway are we gonna get here? We are gonna get 3-3 it says.
JetBlue 1486, are you able to navigate direct
Probably.
lobby intersection Lima Oscar Bravo Bravo Yankee?
Yeah.
Delta 2149, Bradley departure, say altitude. Delta 2149, what the boss, like that was Delta 2149, more radar contact, I maintain flight level 340.
Yeah, vStates now is V countries. They've added Ireland. I don't know if that includes Northern Ireland. I would think so.
Okay, multiple aircraft on the frequency. JetBlue 1486, you're the first one. Go ahead.
I'm gonna load up the ILS to 3-3.
Okay, JetBlue 1486, you're clear direct lobby, cross lobby at 11,000 at lobby.
110.3. Final approach course is 326.
Eastern 455, say again. Okay, yeah, that looks good now, sir. Just continue.
326. And 110.3 is IVOE, and I also need 117.5. Good, I've got them. Minimums. Not going to load the approach yet, but
Boston Center, Pacific Airways.
yeah.
Pacific 1192, Boston Center. Good afternoon, with you, Portland International.
Yeah, I just haven't heard a lot good about the Phenom.
Pacific 1192, what's your current position, sir? I missed that. Portland, Maine, KPWM. Portland International Jetport. Okay, Pacific 1192, clearing time request, standby. Standby, 1192.
The latter half of this year is going to be very interesting for simming. I mean, between those three jets coming out and FS 2020 coming out. Pretty. Look at that. I hope that comes through across the stream really good, because it's just beautiful. The only weather mod I have is active sky.
Ahead, your clearance, so you can expect PDC.
But I don't even think active sky, I mean, it just rearranges the clouds is all it does. Adds some turbulence. As far as the visuals go. I want to get some more sky textures, you know? You know, if you flew prepared, Bill, then you know what, you know, there's sky textures where they match it to the conditions. That was cool. So if it's humid, then you get a different sky. If you know, if it's dry. That was the coolest thing.
Vertical track.
Okay, so I should be getting lower soon.
Eastern 455, descend into Roebuck 3, arrival runway 4 right at Boston. Boston, altimeter 3012, 3012. 30, descend into Roebuck 3 and 4 right, Eastern 455.
Yeah.
Boston Center, Pacific 1192, squawk 4644, ready and push and start. Pacific 1192, push and start approved, advise ready to taxi. And you can expect, let's see, what are we doing at Portland? Expect runway 11 for departure out of Portland.
Yeah.
Call for 11, by the way.
I think I've got SkyMax. I think that's the other one. I was using that before I got Active Sky. Does that have 3D clouds? I forgot.
JetBlue 1486, Boston Center, go ahead. Alright, well, let's do this. I just changed your flight plan. We'll fix it. Descend via the JFund to arrival, runway 4 right. How's that?
Oh, what town that is down there.
That's not a problem. It's better that you do that. It'll help the approach controller, so thanks for fixing that for me.
Oh, there's an airport right there. KBML.
Mark 168, thank you for flying Boston, and hope those big radials on the DC-3 flew okay for you.
Yeah, see, I fly in thick IFR sometimes. I set it up, so I've got some manual setups. I'll put it in like a 3,000 or 4,000 foot thick ceiling and just practice ILS approaches. I love doing that.
Okay, good. Thanks.
I'm addicted to it. You know, it's a different experience when you can't see anything.
And November 310 Gulf Sierra, what's your current position, sir?
We are at Kabreski, Kilo Foxtrot, Oscar Kilo.
Okay, that airport is actually under New York control, so you can contact, let's see if New York approach is up for any of that.
Yeah, set up yourself
Try
a
New York Islip approach on
major ceiling
10.05.
sometime in it. Then you'll know.
Reach out to them, November 310 Sierra Golf.
I heard a rumor that there may be a advanced weather system coming to X-Plane. Maybe.
Citation 986 Juliet Tango, contact Boston approach 133.0.
Alright, over approach on 330, 6 Juliet Tango, see ya.
Yeah, that would be. I think that's the next big push in X-Plane is the weather. Because the ground visuals are, I mean, what can you do? I mean, that's just beautiful. But the atmospheric effects, the brightness, and the contrast, and the weather. And center 5372 I'd like to get lower if I could. I think that's the other one I have. Hold on. It may not have been SkyMax. Oh, look at that. Something popped up in my view. D. I don't think he heard me.
Paper Concord 1 Bob Center, hello. So you'll be actually moving back out into New York airspace for your arrival in the Kennedy, New York
I
Central
don't
line.
see it.
So I'll keep you for another 40, 50 miles, and then I'm going to have to turn you back over to you.
I'm trying to think of where I would have bought it. I think I know where. That's right.
Okay, Boston Center, good afternoon. Delta 209 checking in with you through 10,400 for 140. Delta 209 Boston Center, hello. Climb maintain flight level 350. And a 350 for Delta 209. Center Pacific 1100, you ready to taxi?
Yeah, it was SkyMax Pro.
Pacific 1192, runway 11 taxi via Alpha, report holding short, ready for departure. Hold short, runway 11,
Yeah, they were giving DCS World away about a month ago, a little over. Bye, Bill. I better ask again. And center TBM900 Sierra, I'd like to get lower if I can. He's not hearing me. And center TBM900 Sierra. Oh, my client is hung. Let's see, so...
Jazz 800, contact Moncton Center now, 132.2, good night. 132.2, have a great night, sir.
See if it works. Oh, it's doing it again.
Hello, Boston Center, KLM 52 Bravo.
KLM 52 Bravo's going 4723, 4723.
I've got 4.
Let me close XPilot and start it again. XPilot. Connect. Connect.
Midwest 330, 4 minutes left, take care. Captain Blue 1486, contact Boston approach 133.0.
Getting pretty close here.
KLM 52 Bravo, radar contact, climbing out of flight level 300, climbing maintain flight level 350.
We identified that we are clear to climb at level 350, KLM 52 Bravo.
This is the first time you're using that client, so I'll hang the first time. Not a good sign. And center TBM900 Sierra, I'd like to get lower if I could.
TBM 72 Sierra, descend and maintain 1000. You can expect the ILS runway 33 approach to Burlington.
Descend and maintain 1000. I'll expect the ILS runway 33.
And TBM 52 Sierra, you cleared the rest of Janet, Juliet, Alpha, November, Uniform, Delta.
Was that for 72 Sierra?
Roger, TBM 72 Sierra, you cleared the rest of Janet. That's the initial approach fix. Juliet, Alpha, November, Uniform, Delta.
Clear direct Janet TBM900 Sierra. Oops.
That's Speedbird Concord 1. You are leaving the airspace again, and New York
Janet.
Center's offline, radar service terminated, frequency change route.
No. On. We 535. That should be 540. Oops. 540. And oops. Ah. Come on.
Okay, 2 aircraft calling at the same time. JetBlue 63.
Let's get us going down. And I'm going to go down fairly steep and cut our power back quite a bit.
JetBlue 63.
Now I'll get.
465 346 53.
See, no.
And who else was calling Boston Center?
No, I just got to dial it.
Air India 141 Boston Center. Hello, client or correction, squawk 4744 47 44.
Now it's switched to vectors. Bless it. Okay.
5 to Bravo disregard. JetBlue 6304 radar contact flight level 230 descend via the rollback 3 arrival runway 4 right at Boston. Boston altimeter 3012.
Why does it keep doing that?
Boston is using runway 4 right. You can expect the ILS runway 4 right approaching to Boston. Pacific 1192, wind 170 at 8, runway 11, clear for takeoff. Clear for takeoff, 11 on that. Boston Center, good afternoon, United 1202, 12500, coming 14000. United 1202, Boston Center, hello, climb maintain 16,000. Maintain 16,000, Alaska 15, departing airspace to the west, Cleveland Center.
It did this last time. It decided that it was going to go right instead of going direct Janet. I do not know why. That is Avatab, or yeah, Avatab. So it's a add-on that you can get for X-Plane. You can get downloaded from the .org, but it only works in certain airplanes. It doesn't work well. I mean, it has a thing that'll pop up here, an extra window. Hold on, let me get my heading going. Get me around to Janet here. Controller's going to think I'm nuts if I don't get myself straightened out here. All right. That looks about right.
United 1202, 160 is the maximum altitude.
All right, now let's try the direct again. Direct, enter, see if it does it right this time. Go back to nav. If it just, yeah. Now we're good.
Center, good afternoon, Delta 185, 7,800, climbing 4,000. Alright guys, I got multiple aircraft calling me at the same time.
3005.
Let's see, Delta 185, Boston Center, hello, climb maintain, flight level 300. 300, Delta 185. And who's the other one that's coming in over Kennedy on the arrival?
Yeah, that you download it, and then in the TBM it's here. In the King Air 350, it's over here.
4674 and 4674.
And
JetBlue 6304 have a
But this is the best implementation I've seen, where they put it right where you normally have it. You can even tilt it like that. See the reflections. Let's see, I've got to get down to 7,000. I've got 26 miles to go. I'll be a little high.
Runway 22 left now at Boston to Boston, altimeter 3012.
That might be about right. That is beautiful out there. Haven't had much time to look at the scenery.
At TBM 5372 Sierra, cleared direct Janet, cross Janet and above 7,200, cleared for the ILS runway 33 approach into Burlington.
TBM 72 Sierra, cleared direct Janet, cross Janet at or above 7,200, cleared ILS runway 33 approach. Alright, so 7,200. Yeah, so that, and this is Navigraph data. So all these charts are Navigraph, but you don't necessarily need it because look at this. You can see your charts right here if you want to. It blocks out your map, but you've still got your charts.
Let's see, disregard. You're cleared direct FX, cross FX at flight level 230.
I'm not gonna mess with it this close to the airport, but I can show it to you if I remember. And let's turn I left the lights on anyway, so.
Center, TBM 0 Golf Sierra is with you, 7,000. TBM 0 Golf Sierra, Boston Center, hello.
I mean, airplanes, it's really looking up. I mean, what's currently in the pipeline for X-plane, it's really a choice between great airplanes coming up. I just don't know when.
Delta 2149, you still with me? Delta 2149, stay with you. Roger, you sir, you have departed the airspace to the southwest. New York Center's offline, radar service terminated. Frequency change approved. Frequency change approved. Delta 2149, thank you for the south. Thank you.
I'm going to get out the inertial separator because those mountains are actually about 4,500 feet. If there's birds over them, that'll be nice to see birds in a sim. Big game change. It is. He really raised the bar huge. You know, but I have to say, you know, I mean, if you look at, there's another couple of airplane makers. There's TorqueSim, which is also pushing the bar with their help, with Hotstart's help. And there's Digital Replicas, I think. They've got a couple of airplanes that neither of which I want, but if they were, I'd be all over them. The quality is there. Quality is amazing. And there's others too. You know, I just wish they wouldn't avoid the normal GA airplanes or the, you know, we got plenty of jets, but I wish that they would do some of the planes that Coronado did in the past.
TBM0 Golf Sierra, Martha's Vineyard, currently reporting VFR conditions. You can expect a visual
Okay,
approach
so
runway
we're gonna make it down to 7,200. So
And
he's
TBM
clearing me
0
direct
Golf Sierra,
here.
clear direct Martha's Vineyard Airport to set and maintain. Pilot discretion descent to maintain 3,000.
Direct Martha's Vineyard, pilot discretion down to 3,000 for TBM0 Golf Sierra.
So if I go, let's see, that is the approach activated? Yeah, it is. 55.
United 1109, say indicated airspeed.
This is
Indicated just under 3.
this is supposed to be 48,
United 1109, reduced to 270 knots
Enter.
less for space.
and then I can go down to 20 or to 3,000. No, 3,800.
United 961 heavy, boss, go ahead.
And hit VNav.
Yes, sir. Do you want us on the velocity 4 and
And let's see how it does.
United 961 heavy, I'll give you the descent. Will be pilot discretion descent to cross crank at 7,000.
Clear.
The Newark altimeter 292. Correction.
Getting slow.
Newark altimeter
Oops.
3005.
I apologize.
3005 across crank at 7,000. Thanks. We can delete the altitude restriction at Hannah.
Yes, sir. You can, when I give you that, you can descend to make my crank restriction. And
Yeah,
it takes
he
away the
did.
others.
You on his Discord?
Just backing up.
Am I dropping? Am I?
JetBlue 6304, contact Boston approach 133.0.
Let's do a VNav direct.
Boston approach 133.0 for JetBlue 6304. Thank you very much. Take care.
No, it didn't go down. It's not letting me do VNav direct either.
Vertical track.
Okay, so we're just going to go down. In fact, what I think I'm going to do is CDI and approach. And we're just waiting on the glide slope at this point.
Airbus 841 Papa Charlie departing the airspace to the west. Clayton Center's offline, radar service terminated, frequency changing.
And we got the glide slope. Gear down. Missed approach altitude is 2,800. Yeah, I check in with their Discord from time to time. I just had to order another 16 gig of RAM. I have 16 over the other day. I was running through True Earth and my RAM was 80%. Looked at spec min RAM for True Earth. It was 16. Wow. How much is RAM? What'd you pay for it? What a view. This is like the view flying into Arcata, somewhat. Reminds me of it. $100. That's good.
Alonso cargo 8230 heavy, you can expect 25 left, and descend to VF for now, maintain 4000.
TBM 72 Sierra, wind variable at 4, runway 33 equivalent.
TBM 72 Sierra, clear to land runway 33. 60. But it was bad. It was 60. Oh, in March. Really? Wow. Well, that's because I think everybody's buying blasted PCs because of the virus.
Air India 141, contact Boston approach 133.0.
I'm going to take over here in just a sec.
United 1109, you can contact Boston approach now 133.0. Good day.
Contact approach United 11.
Alonso cargo 8230 heavy, actually.
Yeah, Boston Center, Delta 209.
Clear, 911.
Delta 209, Boston Center, go ahead. Yes, sir, request to set when available at Delta 209, let me hand you off to Montreal. They'll give you the descent standby. Okay, we can do that. Delta standby, Jonah.
And Boston Center, total 2 back.
United 1202, roger.
Alpha 2463, descend via exit maintain 15,000 for traffic ahead of you.
Delta 209, contact Montreal Center now 128.77, 2877, good day. Okay, no, 12877 for Delta 209. Have a great week. We'll see you.
What virus?
Shamrock 1, Alpha Kilo heavy, you can bridge verify golf. Clear, 911.
United 1202 on the arrival into Newark, cross Crank intersection at 7000. There's no work altimeter 3005.
Press Crank, it's 7,000, and we do have the numbers down in Newark. Thanks, Mitchell.
Alonso cargo 8230 heavy, affirmative, 25 left.
Have to see how this thing does when I put the final notch of flaps in.
Alpha 2463, maintain 4000, traffic 230 and 5 miles, heavy MP11, descending at a 40.
Come on.
Alpha 2463, maintain visual separation from that traffic. You can cross BU at or about 1000, clear 911, G4, right approach.
Okay, what was the altitude again?
Alpha 2463, cross BU at or above 2000.
They're above 12,000, cleared visual, or cleared approach at 24 right above 20.
Delta
And Boston Center, United 1202, you would happen to have anyone up ahead of us on our route here that has went through that build up your Flossie area?
United 1202, I got nobody ahead of you on the Flossie, sir.
Okay, roger. We may need to deviate a little left, just in case the storm comes. We'll let you know, 1202.
United 1202, yeah, just let me know. That shouldn't be a problem. 0 Golf Sierra. Martha's Vineyard Airport, now at 12 o'clock in about 15 miles. Let me know when you have the field sight.
That's amazing how much I'm getting bumped around here.
November 0 Golf Sierra.
Airspeed.
And TBM0 Golf Sierra, you descend and maintain 2,000.
Down 2000, TBM 0 Golf Sierra.
TBM72 Sierra, welcome to Burlington. You can taxi to parking this frequency. Thanks for flying Boston today.
TBM72 Sierra, and I'll taxi to parking. Thanks for your help. See, is this a runway? I believe that is a runway. Yep. Yes, this is vStates. If you, it's just better than what I had. I had my own ortho. Lights, icing, flaps.
TBM0 Golf Sierra, cleared visual approach, runway 24. Runway 24 at Martha's Vineyard, clear to land, wind 05010.
Cleared visual approach, runway 24, clear to land, runway 24, TBM 0 Golf Sierra.
I don't believe I can take that.
1000 for 140,000. It's us 1467 Boss Center, hello. Climb maintain flight level 360. Up to 360 for stars 1467.
And strobes off. Yeah, I like vStates. Pretty happy with them. I finally got them all. Yes, I think it was yesterday morning. I finally got it all installed. And then, and then he came out with Ireland, which I'll have to get. Yeah, if you've got, where to try it is what I did. I tried Georgia first because I wanted to compare it to Orbx, Florida. And there's a thin line where you can tell that there's a subtle difference between the two.
Boston Center, hello.
If you didn't see that line, you wouldn't notice a difference.
With you over JFK inbound, Rams on the robot grid.
In aircraft calling Boss Center, what's the airline call sign, sir?
Eurotrans 87 Lima Alpha.
Start 87 Lima Alpha, roger. Stand by for your squad.
Ken, you're the guy you're also looking at the Fulcrum yoke, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I did, so I could compare the difference, so you could take a look for Georgia. And then and he's also got V trees too, so you can, if you want more trees, you can get those. And that covers the world properly, or the United States properly with trees. So timer's running, checklist. Icing switches are done. Oops.
Approach to west, 5874, 223 descending on the 8.
Hey, your star 87 Lima Alpha, radar contact over John F. Just like 4 miles northeast of the John F. Kennedy Airport.
Check.
Descendant,
Flaps are up.
Clear direct factors.
Strobe switches off.
Foxtrot Echo, X-ray, X-ray,
Lights
and
are off.
you can cross FEX at flight level 230.
There's a direct to FEX, cross FEX at floor
Times
230 per hour bets will be a little bit high, I think.
Yeah,
Check.
Eurotrans 87 off, that's okay. You can start that descent. You should have plenty of room to
Check.
get down.
We'll start our descent now. Your
P
turn, 87, Lima. Thank you.
AC.
And confirm Robot 3 arrival.
Roger, you can expect the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 22 left.
Throttle taxi light, AP trims.
And Boston Area 1202 vacating 16 feet.
A minute and a half. And we can zoom up and take a look at this airport, and then I'll do a
Boston Center, hello,
free play.
2138, 9000, claim B 14000.
Yeah, and it's all free. Hold on.
Deviation is approved. Let me know when you can go direct crank.
Oh, there's no deviation. I was just advising you I was vacating altitude at 1202. We're direct to, we're going to second gear right now.
Okay, sorry about that. I thought you were deviating around some weather there. All right, and sir, you are going to be descending out of my airspace to the southwest New York approach. Or center is offline. Radio service terminated. Frequency change.
2 minutes.
I'll switch over to advisory. Thank you for your help, guys. 1202.
Inertial separator.
American
Lights.
2178 Boston Center, hello. Climb maintain 16,000. Climb and maintain 16,000. American 2138, hello.
That's
TBM 3 or 0 Gulf Sierra, welcome to Martha's Vineyard, and you can continue to taxi to parking this frequency. Thanks for flying, Boston. Right, nice to work with you.
It's hung again. Close the program. Close the program. I don't know what it is with XPilot. I've tried it twice. Maybe I'll try it running with run as administrator. Wherever it installed it. Well, I guess I'll find that out in a second. Let's do a well, let's look at this airport first. This was free on the .org. So as freeware goes, that's pretty nice. Not as nice as Jacksonville, I think, but it's nice. Worth flying into. And then if you like Champlain over here and all the mountains, it's a nice flight. And it's the only airport you can get. There's no one else has ever made a Burlington, Vermont. Yeah, nice evening flight. So yeah, not bad. Yeah, vStates and all that stuff. vStates, Ireland, and vTrees. That's all free. And I don't know if his airports are still on sale, but he's got some on the cheap. You got Tampa. Yeah, that's a good one. He's still, it's new, so he's still working on some kinks. He tends to work on them. Been real happy. In fact, I've got all of his airports. And some of them are older. They're not so great, but he's getting better. His quality keeps moving up. Sarasota's nice too. I don't think he likes Sarasota as much, but I enjoy Sarasota a lot. It's easy on the frames, and it's got a mix of GA and how far do you think? There? I want to move over a little bit more. And also there's a GA airport down by Fort Myer that's really nice. It's Fort Myer Executive, I think it is. And he was working on Myrtle Beach. I don't know where that falls in his queue right now. I think he's going to work on Omaha, Nebraska. But he tends to work on two airports at a time because he released Sarasota just like 3 weeks before, maybe two before he released Tampa. Here I come. Yeah, I did. I got three airports too. I got three airports. I got um, on the forms. This one here, this is KBTV. That was a nice landing. Yeah, that was a good one. I didn't even feel it touch the runway. Not to say that that's a good thing. I'm not much for butter landings. I don't believe in them. Even though I could do do them fairly well in the real world. You know, you want to put it on the runway. But let's do another one a little bit closer. All right, so right there maybe. Yeah, this KBTV is Burlington, Vermont, and there's another one in California I just saw recently that's really good. But if you guys don't have St. Pete, you should get it. Yeah, that was nice. One more from the tower. What's that, shift 5, I think? I like the tower view. Must be close. Oh, and $0 payware released Narita today. Holy crap. I don't have an airplane to fly in there, really. It won't let me zoom or anything. That was a good landing. Yeah, I think my yoke problems are behind me. I found a couple of things. I got them all fixed. So I get to keep my crappy yoke for a while longer. Let's see. What was that one? It's something Valley in California. It's up in Northern California or Oregon. There it is. Is it Medford? I think it's Medford. Ran across the, I think somebody released that one yesterday. And it looked pretty good. This is on Napa. Is Napa good on the .org? It's KNPA, right? NPA? don't see a Napa. It's got the ID wrong. KAPC. KAPC. No. Oh. I can type. Okay, there we go. Looks like there's two of them. That one's... I've never seen a good Napa. Oh, just threw something out there. Yeah, I think it's Medford, Oregon. That's new. What's the ID of Medford? I may have downloaded it. I was on a different computer when I saw it. KMFR. And I like flying into Arcata, which is KACV. Beautiful approach from the east, especially around sunset. Just beautiful. But yeah. So I haven't flown up here in the Northeast. Not in this part. I think, you know, like everybody, I've probably flown into Newark. Weirdly, I've never flown into Robbinsville, which is where I used to fly out of. But I don't know. I think I may have even downloaded Robbinsville, but I just never did it. It's a decent runway. What's cool about it is sometimes it gets hit by a crosswind, and I think it's 60 feet wide, so you got to deal with it. I got to figure out why that does that. All right, flight. Shut that off. So it's good. I think my yoke is behaving again. That's... Let's see, we want chocks. Yeah, who knows? I might go back up and do another one, but we'll see. Oh, that's not. Yep. Yeah, I got the ones I got were what is it? Just north of Phoenix, Sedona, which is pretty nice. And then I got Phoenix too. I needed some Western airports, and I got Austin. Yes, you have to maintain this airplane. You don't maintain this airplane, it like if you leave the covers off overnight, you may get a hot start in the morning. And if you damage the airplane, like a rock gets in the engine, or you run the, you know, because you didn't have the inertial separator on, or just bad luck, it remembers it, and the damage accumulates. So sometimes you have to replace things, and sometimes things just wear out. You know, so um, I've had pretty good luck with this particular airframe. Knock on wood. No real serious problems. Anyway, Ken. I'm going to sign off for a little while. If I get to sign back on later, that's great. But yeah, we'll yeah, maybe I'll see you online again later. Have a good night.